Okay, we're here with Rick Soptis. We're at the Iron Men of God meeting here in June of 2026. And Rick, give me a little bit about your background. Tell us a little something about how you came to this group, or.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, John. I think the first part of my life has been searching for God. I've always been in church. My grandfather immigrated from Italy to here, and as an unusual person as he was, he left the Catholic Church. He was brought up by priests, and he saw what went on, and he started, and another group of Italian immigrants started a small Presbyterian church.
Whereabouts?
It's in upstate New York, in Endicott, New York, the home of IBM.
Okay.
So my walk started there. It was kind of, I guess, not forced on me, but I was brought up by my parents, my grandparents. So I'd always been searching. I never really followed as a teenager and a young adult. I probably walked away a little bit and
Don't we all?
did some things I'm not too proud of, but I always feel like the Lord has led me. I stayed in that area until I was 37 and came to Florida. I was working for the Postal Service, and I was a carrier. And I said, I don't think I can make a career out of this with this weather in the winter.
Yeah.
And I was about ready to quit. Well, lo and behold, one day I went into work and there was a sign on the time clock that said, Orlando carrier seeking mutual transfer. What? So I really believe that was the Lord telling me, like he told Abraham, you're going to have to leave everything and everybody behind.
Yeah.
And I went down, I visited, I have a cousin that lives here, and he showed me around, and he goes, why don't you want to do it? Are you chicken? I said, yeah, kinda, so we thought about it, and I went home and I said, let's do it.
Did you have a family at the time?
I did not. I was a single guy.
Okay.
I was single, so it wasn't hard for me. It was my parents. I didn't have brothers or sisters, so it's just my mom and dad. So I ended up moving down here in 1990, and right away I started going to church. I delivered to the manse of a church that was at one time St. Paul's Presbyterian Church. And on my route here, I'd see that, and I thought, well, let me check out this church one Sunday. And I went there, and the pastor asked if there was anybody new that came to church, and we all raised our hand. There was a few of us, and when he came to me, he said, well, how'd you come to know about us? I said, well, I deliver to you 5 days a week. I thought I'd come here and let you deliver to me. I said, I'm your mailman. Everybody laughed. So that's where my real introduction to Jesus came.
Yeah.
By coming here and listening to that voice inside that's saying, you need something different. My friends everybody up there said, you're going to do what? You're going to transfer to Florida? Why? And I said, why not?
Yeah.
So he was testing me because I was like, I lived at home until I was 32. They finally kicked me out of the house, got a job at the post office. So
you've been here 35 years or so?
Yes, 36 years.
Do you still maintain employment, or do you retire?
No, I'm retired now, and I'm retired. I retired at 2020 with a 6-month-old. So you asked me if I had a family when I came here, and that's part of the providence of God. He brought me here. I think he started by giving me the job at the post office, which isn't the most glamorous job in the world.
Yeah.
If you woke up in the morning and say, hey, I want to be a letter carrier. But I transferred down here, and it's just been nothing but discovery after discovery. So I met the Lord in 1997 it wasn't really an altar call, but at St. Paul's, they had a visiting pastor.
Yeah.
And he asked if anybody wanted to come up front, and I happened to be in church with my parents that day, and I looked at my mother and I said, come on, let's go. And she reached for my father, and he backed off He said, I'm not going up there. Just come on. Well, we walked up front. And I can't tell you what happened to me because I just started crying. The tears were running down my face, and the visiting pastor said, what's going on? I said, I have no idea. And our pastor, Brian Stamper, said, Rick, I can see Jesus all over you today.
I love it.
And so that was my first introduction of being in relation with Jesus. I always knew about Jesus.
Yeah.
But
then you had the relationship, and that's grown ever since.
It has. It's led me to greater things, meeting my wife in 2004, getting married in 2008. It led me to have a son in 2019 at the age of 67.
Wow, isn't that something? I love it.
Yeah, so I feel like when the doctor told us that we were pregnant, and we had tried for 11 years, it was quite a good way, the way he told us. He said, do you have a Bible handy? It was on the phone with my wife. And I said, well, we're at church, but he can pull it up on his phone. So we looked at it. He said, look up Luke 1:36 and 37 and read it out loud. And it's pretty much, even your cousin Elizabeth, who is considered up there in age and barren, is with child. She's 6 months pregnant. Nothing is impossible with God.
Yes.
So that's how he told us we were pregnant. And yes, we used a little science, but I believe that the Lord gives wisdom to the folks here on earth that work through him.
Yes, that is so true. You know, have you had the opportunity to impart your story to other people about how the Lord has worked through your life, and you get that opportunity to tell others?
I have. I haven't done any public speaking. I just recently at our church, what was St. Paul's Presbyterian is now West. I gave my testimony. They had an evening there of if you could sing or dance or whatever. My wife did a dance, and I gave my testimony about some of the highlights of my life. But I've done it, my testimony and our family's testimony, because it's really the three of us, is quite miraculous. I've given it to a lot of people, one-on-one or small groups from church.
Well, that's, it's encouraging, because hopefully this video will get to a lot of different people. What would you want them to hear from you about your walk with Jesus Christ?
I think that trusting in him, and if he's leading you to do something that doesn't seem normal, is probably a good thing, to step out of your comfort zone, like we talked about today.
Yes,
Abraham,
yeah, absolutely.
So as he was led away from what he was familiar with, I was led away from everything that I was familiar with. And I was very familiar with the area that I was born and raised. And I think coming here, I really found the relationship with Jesus. I found people that were like-minded like me. And also, I was able to go back to where my grandfather came, and able to meet a pastor there, and was rebaptized as an adult in 2024 in the Tyrrhenian Sea.
I love it.
So it was a wonderful opportunity. I can see God working through my life, looking back now, how leaving there it wasn't that difficult, but it was something very different for me.
Yeah.
But I can see how he's worked a lot of little miracles, our son being one. He's 6.5 now. And we named him Giovanni because, well, my grandfather was Giuseppe, my father was Giacomino, and then we thought about Giovanni because in that Bible verse, Elizabeth was carrying John the Baptist. And so we finally decided to dedicate his name to the Lord, and we figured, well, John is the Baptist was like the opening act for Jesus.
Yes.
And so we named him Giovanni, which is John in Italian. That's what our roots are.
I love that. You know, around our table, which we do here at the Iron Men of God, we were talking about how life doesn't unfold always like we'd want it to. Circumstances come up that we don't understand. We're frustrated. We're maybe angry. But knowing the Lord, knowing that God is sovereign, knowing that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, you can have a certain amount of contentment through those difficulties that life throws at everybody. We all have it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've experienced some of those yourself. And having your faith, you just take the next step forward, and you can have a whole different attitude. You don't have to turn to drugs, alcohol. You can, that inner peace that surpasses understanding.
It sure does.
And the Bible says in this life you're going to have tribulation, but be of good cheer.
He is near.
He's near, and he's overcome the world. Any other thoughts you'd have for that person out there that's struggling? They don't understand. They see all these different approaches people are talking about. Any suggestions you'd give them?
I think that if you give the Lord time, you may be in a Saturday time of life, we call it, because of Good Friday when the Lord was crucified, and then Easter Sunday when he rose again, the miracle. I think if you're in a Saturday time of life, you don't know that something good is when it's going to come, but something good is coming. His time is not our time.
Well, and that's true.
And we know it personally because, like I said, we had gone 11 years trying to have a baby. We got married late in life. I was 55 when I got married for the first time.
That's right.
And so I can see how the Lord wants us to be patient and to wait on him. And if we do, you'll see miracles upon miracles.
Isn't that the truth? That is very encouraging. We hope that will encourage others that are maybe, going through difficult times.
Right.
It wasn't easy to go through those years. And I'm sure there were some prayers. Why can't we have that child?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of prayers. But knowing that patience and trust and hope will carry you through no matter what it is. It's just not about having a baby at a late in life. It's about any circumstance that you're going through. Things can change. I felt trapped in upstate New York. I felt trapped in the job. How am I going to make this? I ended up working 36 years for the Postal Service. I don't know. That's a feat in and of itself.
I love it. That's amazing. Any last words for that person that's seeking?
Well, if you're thinking about God, if you're thinking about Jesus, and you want to explore, you don't have to commit yourself to everything that you see on TV. If you just listen to him, if you go to a good Bible-based church, or if you just pick up the Bible yourself, or just talk to someone else about how God has influenced their life, like I'm sharing with you. My pastor always says, don't quote Bible verses to other people when you're trying to let them know how God, Jesus works. Don't tell them or ask them if they're going to go to heaven or hell. If they died today, tell them your story. And I'm sure if you look back, if you have patience and you're able to look back, you'll see how God works miracles in your life too.
And you've seen him in yours.
I have. I've seen him through everything. I just can't put the number of little miracles that he's done in my life.
Well, that's exciting. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to tell your story, and we just pray it'll influence the lives of others.
That's why I like to tell it. Thank you.
God bless.
Thanks, John.
We want to thank you for watching RedefiningAging.us. I'm John District, your host. And our goal for the series is pretty simple. We just want to enhance the quality of people's lives. So if you know of an event that you think would be one for good for us to cover, please fill out the form on our website, and not only the event, and what it is, where it is, when it is, and if there's a person you know that you think would be a good person for us to do a testimony on in some event, please let us know. And if you want a fuller description of my testimony, you can either go to johndisterdick.com and look under ministry, or you can go here at redefiningaging.us. We appreciate your viewership. God bless, and hope to see you on more shows.